So I was working this one out by hand, and I think it's too much for you to have a chance at remembering. I really do. So we're going to play in a calculator. What we're going to do is we're going to take our equation that they gave us, and we're going to solve it for y so that we can actually graph it. We're going to move this guy on over. X plus 7 squared over 25 plus 1 equal to y minus 4 squared over 9. Now I'm going to 9 both sides, and I'm not going to take it far at all. Y minus 4 quantity squared is 9 times that crap. I'm not even going to distribute the 9. Why? Because I'm going to be pushing some buttons in a second. Whoops, don't need that there. I'm going to counteract squaring by square rooting. I'm going to remember the plus or minus symbol, and then I'm going to add 4 to both sides. This is what I'm going to type in a calculator. This is called a hyperbola, and you have never seen a hyperbola. Let's see here, I have 4 plus square root of that thing. I don't know why I said 27, it's supposed to be just 7. Typo there. The other one's the same thing except it's minus. You ever feel like pushing buttons on a calculator was slow? The author of this test tried to somewhat nullify a calculator. And the truth is, I mean, a lot of kids are just not going to have seen conics. Anyways, I zoom 6. You start to see what's called a hyperbola. It's just 2 parabolas. I wonder what a zoom fit looks like. Not something I do too often. There we go. Doesn't look any different than a zoom 6. That was pretty lame. That was a waste of my life. What I am going to do is I'm going to make this thing big, because they're talking about these things being asymptotes. Let's do negative 100x min, 100x max. Let's do a y min of negative 100. Let's do negative 200. And a y max of 200. Now, I'm going to take each of these equations that they gave us, and I'm going to mx plus bm, okay? So this is y equals negative 3/5 x plus a fifth. And if it's an asymptote, I don't cross it. So if an asymptote, there is no intersection. These are slant asymptotes. The color calculators make these things not so bad. Now, I'm going to see if there's an intersection or not. You're so far zoomed out, I don't know if you can tell. Second trace 5. I'm just going to get my cursor somewhere over here on the left, and I'm going to press enter 3 times. Enter, enter, enter. Oh, whoops, I'm in Y2. I got to be careful about that. Second trace. I want to see if there's an intersection between Y1, which is blue, and Y3, which is black. Enter, enter. There was an intersection, so no. All right, the next one would be y equals negative 3/5 x minus 1/5. All right, second trace 5. I'm going to go through every one of these. Not because I have the time to do it, just because I need to check them all. I'm pretty sure B is an asymptote, but we'll find out. So again, intersection between blue and black. This is looking like it might be one. This one is probably going to fail. That's 3x equals negative 3/5 x plus 71/5. If the first one failed, that one's going to fail. E is a very good likely candidate. Let's look at E. 3x plus 5y equals negative 23. So y is negative 3/5 x minus 23 over 5. Let's check that one out. It's really between B and E, if you think about the math. The positive ones are going to be shifted up and they're going to intersect. I'm going to go after the intersection between red and black on this one. So let's go to red. There is an intersection. So, B. That's the easiest way I know to do that problem, kids. Alright, for which equation does the corresponding ellipse have a major x-axis length of 10? Ugh, seriously, more stuff that we haven't done. That stinks. I guess the best thing to do would be to graph them, wouldn't it? Should be choice C. Although it says major x-axis length of 10. It's probably choice D. Let's look at D in a calculator, because I think this is it. We would have y squared over 16 equals 1 minus x squared over 25. We would 16 both sides. And then we would do the square root. So plus or minus 4 square roots of 1 minus x squared over 25, whatever that looks like. Yeah, I'm going with that. I was really hoping to get more of 2 of these done, because this was my planning period. Well, kind of my planning period. I was doing some math in my head real quick. There's a reason I picked D. Let's see if I remember enough. Let's do a zoom square. Why didn't it graph anything? Zoom 6? I don't know why zoom square didn't graph anything. Oh, because I was still on that funny looking window. Anyways, that zoom 6 is enough because you can see that the radius, the major radius, is 10. The minor radius is 8. And what I was looking at as I was looking at this thing. This is how far you go left and right when you take the square root. That's how far you go up or down when you take the square root. So there was some thought process there. Identify the real solutions to this equation. Like, come on. Y1, Y2. Alright, solve that equation. Look how they have the answers. But it's still Y1, Y2. Isn't it? If you want to do it by hand, we could. It should factor. I don't know. Anyways, I don't feel like doing it. Y1, Y2. What is the coefficient of x minus y plus